What's up, everyone? It's Coach Adam here from the Cycling Co. It's December, and it is one of the most underrated months for building your form to build towards next season, BC bike race, and whatever else you got coming up in 2026. It's the bridge between fall fitness and what we'll be doing next year that is so critical here. You've built a lot of structured work through the fall, and we're going to add another layer in January. So between that fall outdoor riding period that we had, if you've been following along, we worked on some threshold work, we worked on some VO2 max work, we worked on some skill work. And today I want to take you through how to make the most of this month, even with the shorter days, colder weather, and holiday chaos. So why does December matter so much? Well, this isn't the time of year where it's about huge volume or smashing a ton of intervals, but it's about staying consistent, staying healthy, and keeping your aerobic system engaged so that you slide smoothly into the next phase of training. If you can show up in January fresh, motivated, and injury-free, you're already ahead of most of the riders that are heading into next season. So the biggest challenge that so many people feel this time of year is managing daylight and winter weather. We've seen a big shift in the weather in the past week across Vancouver Island here where we're based, as well as across most of BC and much of North America. We've seen snowfalls, we've seen some accumulations, we've seen stormier, wetter weather. But daylight is the biggest challenge, I think, that faces most of us. So the key is shifting important rides to the brightest part of the day if you can, getting out at lunchtime or working in flexible blocks if you have that available to you, but also utilizing those weekend windows and making the most of those days when you're not at work. So even short rides count. That's really important to remember. Consistent 45-minute or even 60-minute zone 2 rides will keep your aerobic base intact. When it comes to weather, pick your battles. If it's dry and cold and you can ride outside, then do it. If it's wet or slushy, maybe a mountain bike ride or a gravel ride makes more sense. If it's icy or the snow gets deep, well, if you don't have a fat bike, it might be challenging. So it can be a bit tricky, but those are those days where the trainer might make more sense. It's very time efficient and you can get a lot of quality work done in less than an hour. If you do go outside, layer smartly, protect your extremities, and don't be afraid to add cross training like hiking, snowshoeing, if conditions are appropriate or demand it. If you're going to convert your outdoor rides to indoor sessions, here's a couple of things to keep in mind. So the key principle here is that your body recognizes intensity and duration more than it can tell what activity you're actually doing. So when you're riding inside, because you're not coasting, those indoor rides carry a little bit more fatigue or a little bit more impact than outdoor rides can. So I'd recommend shortening those rides up by 15, 20% maybe as a general rule. Use the indoor space for high quality tempo work, strength endurance on the bike, controlled threshold work, whatever specific work you're doing, as opposed to trying to do endurance work on your trainer. Make sure that you set that space up so it's comfortable with lots of fresh air, using a fan, open window, and really take into account that rate of perceived exertion as well as whatever other metrics you have access to, being power, heart rate, respiratory rate even. But the rate of perceived exertion is key for those indoor workouts, because sometimes you'll see different numbers than you will outside. So don't go chasing numbers, chase sensations. Okay. I would also recommend avoiding leaning too heavily on the erg mode. You want to develop your ability to learn how to pace your own efforts. And the erg mode on the trainer kind of does that for you. So you miss out on some key adaptations there. As your training volume drops, we can shift emphasis. So we can maintain the frequency of our sessions, even if that duration is a little lower. Still focus on one high intensity session per week minimum. Lean on strength training a little bit harder as well. This is a great opportunity as the days are darker, shorter, the weather's less conducive to being outside. it's a great opportunity to increase the frequency and duration a little bit of our strength training work. So this is going to really help your efficiency on the bike and your durability, plus maybe even your power output. Take advantage of some of those longer nights too. It gets dark early. Maybe you can even squeeze in a little bit more sleep. Keep nutrition on track during this holiday month. It can be tricky, but make sure that you're paying special attention to your protein intake and fueling for your indoor rides. This is the month where consistency is so much more important than perfection. That kind of brings us to holiday stress. Now, often Christmas is a hectic time of year, holidays in general. There's social engagements, there's family stuff, there's shopping to do. All these things kind of spike in December, and that can add a lot of stress. So even though we might be reducing our training volume, because we have all of these other distractions on top of everything else we have going on, we actually have a narrower bandwidth for training. Your body doesn't really care where stress comes from. Stress is stress. We have, the positive stress that is training. But when we increase other forms of stress, we have a little bit less bandwidth to adapt and to recover. So be sure to keep that in mind. If life gets really busy, adjust your training accordingly. Okay, shorter rides, give yourself some flexibility, give yourself permission to shuffle things around and just be smart with it. For social events, I like the bookend strategy when it comes to your nutrition around them. So, eating well before and after, and then let yourself enjoy the festivities while you're there. Small adjustments to this can go a long way. Okay. In terms of your December game plan, just to wrap it up here, stay consistent, adapt to the weather, adapt to the daylight, manage your stress, keep your aerobic engine firing. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be consistent. So keep showing up. Have a great month of training, and I'll see you in January as we shift into the next phase for 2026. Happy holidays, everybody. I'm Coach Adam.